Building your own tiny house is an opportunity to create something really special. It's a chance to build your own style, flair, and character into a home. And if you can do it in a place like this, even better. G'day Scott, how's it going, mate?
Good man, yourself?
Very well, thank you. It's awesome to be here. And dude, this is quite a house you've built yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The Pirate's Rest.
I love it. This is just such an unusual space. Can you talk to me about how this came to be?
Yeah, I was stuck here during lockdown with my mum because at the time I was living on my boat, swinging around on the open ocean for however long it was going to be. It was not a very happy proposition. Mum was on her own as well, so we said, let's go to the beach. And then we're looking at the plans of the house and then looking at these putukawas down here, and it was like, that's our land. Can I put a tiny home on it? And she's like, till we boot, so.
Amazing, because the house behind us here, this is a family home, isn't it?
Yeah, family home, yeah. We sort of grew up on a family farm in the holidays and down the King Country, and Mum always liked to have a place where the family could go and sort of like it was almost like the mothership, if you like, you just come back to it. Yeah. And so this is kind of like going to be our mothership where the kids and grandkids and all the rest of it can always come and always have.
Yeah, brilliant. And the location just couldn't be better. I mean, the ocean is right there.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Straight out there for a surf. I've got the kayak set up for maybe a long line later on. Go grab Kai from the ocean and yeah, she's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that you've designed this house, it's definitely all about taking full advantage of the location and that indoor-outdoor living.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Now, the key is the Alderman Islands, which is straight out there, and the boundary, which is right here. So you'll notice that the house is wedge-shaped, and that's basically to maximise the space we had available. And so wedge-shaped, 2 different pitches on the roof, only 1 square corner in the whole house. So
yeah,
it was a really tricky build.
And it's really clever the way that you have tucked this into the property and how well it's situated next to the main house as well.
Yeah, the idea was for it to kind of complement the main house, without putting something abstract here. Like this is Pauanui, there's a lot of not in my backyard stuff going on, so it kind of had to be a little bit natural in its colours and even the board and batten styles matching the big house. So it's its own little entity, but it's kind of like a little ship off the mothership, if you like.
Yeah, and I love the pirate theme to the place too.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm the pirate because I come off my boat, and so I was like, dreaming up all these ideas, brass lighting and, we need to have CNC machine Pirates Rest, there's even the pirate flag, Maybe I'm just a big kid at heart,
I love it. And of course, before this, you were living on your boat for quite a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on my boat for 4 years. So I'd come out of a marriage and didn't know what to do with myself and, had to sort of reinvent myself and, living in a big empty house by yourself was like, what do I do? So I just rented it out, bought a boat, and me and my daughter just, trundled in and out on the dinghy every day, going to school in wet weather gear some days, getting changed in the car. But when you went away for work, just leave it swinging and, it was epic.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this is the next evolution of that.
That's right. So this is where the pirates come to rest. So in an ideal world, I'll retire here and, go play some bowls, ride my mountain bike, do some fishing, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I've designed it with that in mind, so yeah.
Yeah, what a life.
Yeah, that's the life.
Yeah, and what size is this house?
So the footprint is 35 square metres, and then with the deck it's about 50. But the idea is that putting in the bifolds here and the bifolds in the kitchen, you can open all out and have that sense of space sort of heading out, into the reserve that's here. It gives you that sense of space and slightly higher ceilings as well. And that all adds to the sense of space. So most people who come visit, friends and family, they can't believe that it's 35 square metres. It's not a hell of a lot bigger than a big caravan,
Perfect. And you're grid connected here, but you do have the solar power as well.
Yeah, so I am connected to the main house via a link. So if the solar system is down, I can switch it across, or if I'm doing maintenance or something like that, so I can access the mains, but 99% of the time she's off grid. Yeah, 12 volt lighting and some of the appliances, and then we've got 230 volt for the fridge running off an inverter, and then the cooking and the hot water is gas.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, being the beach house, you've got the really nice outdoor shower and all of those kind of amenities as well.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got a big outdoor shower there, so core 10 steel, so all rusty look, big old monsoon shower head, 100-year-old bath, tap, fittings, brass out there and stuff like that. You throw your surfboard in, throw your wetsuits in, and nice hot shower when you come in from your winter surf.
Perfect.
Excellent.
And I really like the way you've done the outdoor bar as well.
Yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. Like, I had resin going everywhere. Like, do not attempt something like that inside or over anything that you care about. Trying to get a live edge that's sealed and then put doming resin into it is quite a challenge. So it's weathered okay. It's a few years old now, but yeah, it'll need redoing at some point. But yeah, it is a bit of a feature. It's got shells inlaid in it and all the rest of it.
Yeah, nice. And I really like the position of it and how it sort of transforms the indoor counter into a big table.
Yeah, that's right. So you can have 4 people seated on the inside and 4 people seated on the outside. So you can have 8 people literally sitting around, half of them outside, half of them inside. And if it's a bit sunny or whatever, we can put the blinds out. Yeah, it's that whole indoor-outdoor flow in a tiny space.
Yeah, brilliant. And just the way that you've styled the place is really special. It just ties in so beautifully with that sort of beach house look.
Yeah, it was quite funny. Like, I had 1,000 ideas and luckily I didn't put all of them in. I somehow managed to edit myself. But one of the things I wanted to keep was the brass lighting. So there's a massive brass ship's lamp over the bed and all the outdoor lighting's all brass. So that was pretty cool. Some copperfish around the corner and yeah, found an old buoy washed up on the beach and just threw that in there and an old anchor and, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe gone over the top a little bit, but you know.
I don't think so. I think it's fantastic. Have fun with the space. That's what it's for, right?
Exactly.
Well, the style of this house is just so cool. The location here is off the charts, and I cannot wait to see what you've done on the inside of the home. Can we have a look?
Let's go check it out.
Let's do it. This is very special. The first thing I notice about this home is that nothing is square. The shape is so unusual.
Yeah, it's basically what we had to work with. So the section went here and that's the space we had. So it's basically 5.5 meters on that wall and then down to nothing on this wall. And the only way we could keep from having a tiny entranceway was to put another angle in for the bifolds to get that sense of space and the view. But it was a very tricky build because we've got a sloping ceiling that way and a sloping ceiling back down that way. So there's not a single stud in here that's the same length. It's just really, really, really hard build.
Yeah, definitely a tricky build, but it just makes the space so much more interesting to be inside, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is.
And you did a lot of the construction on this home yourself, didn't you?
Yep, pretty much from digging the footings to, you know, pouring concrete, the whole 9 yards. So I managed to find a mate of the architect. Him and I lived next door in the big house for about 6 months or something and just dreamed up ways to make this place cool and, you know, worked on it full time and become an apprentice. You know, got told off a few times, but we're still friends at the end of it.
That's the most important thing. And that's the way to do it too, eh? To be involved in the construction of your own home. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that just immediately jumps out to me about this home is all of the really beautiful timbers you've chosen.
Yeah, I wanted to have a new build that had an old school feel. So I wanted to use as many recycled timbers as I could. So this is recycled Rimu out of the old farmers building in Tauranga. Some guy turned it into tongue and groove. And then the shelves and the lamp and that is all swamp coating, which is wood that's been petrified under a peat swamp for thousands of years and then reclaimed and then milled up, even the little footstool. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
It really is. And it's just such a cozy home as well. I love the way that you've got the big couch there. You can take advantage of the view out to the ocean. And then what is that contraption?
Okay, so that is a Italian pellet fire. So it basically uses compressed recycled wood chips. So it's recycled materials and it's 98% efficient. So I just wanted something that was easy. You turn up to the beach, you don't want to be chopping firewood or anything like that. You just load up the hopper and you've got a real flame, which is the thing I like, you know, sit there on your toes.
Awesome. The color scheme in here is really cool as well.
Yeah, well, we wanted to go with sort of natural timbers. It's all I could do to stop myself from putting wood on the walls, but needed to have some kind of contrast. So we've got the white with the subway tile and the Italian tile bench top, but then we've got red oak ply ceilings and Rimu floors, and then any pops of colour. I try to make it putakawa, New Zealand native trees, and that's your deep greens and your reds.
Yeah, very nice. And it looks like you've got storage in here as well.
Yeah, so basically with a small space and also from living on the boat, I realised you have to have, every void has to have storage in it, keep all your stuff out of the way. So there's a massive cupboard underneath the couch. So under there you got board games and there's Lego for the kids and books and, you know, couch I had to make full size so you could sleep on it, you know, if you want an afternoon siesta. Storage under the bunk bed, everything. Yeah, I had to build all the furniture myself to incorporate the storage.
Yeah, well, that must have been quite a challenge as well because, again, you're working with a very unusual shape.
Yeah, it was pretty much have an idea and then see if it works.
And then you've got the telly up there as well?
Yeah, that's a little 12 volt one. Don't watch a lot of it, but it's got a little DVD player stuck in the back. Again, we could have gone all hi-fi, internet, this and that, but I wanted to have that old school beach feel. If you want to chuck a movie on, you flick through your DVDs. Maybe I'm just a little bit nostalgic.
Oh, you know what? I love that though as well, because also when you're at the beach, the last thing you want to be doing is watching the telly, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's YouTube. You want to be able to watch YouTube.
You got to be able to watch YouTube.
Got to watch Living Big, eh?
Absolutely.
And then I really like the kitchen design here as well. Again, the shape of it just makes it so unique.
Yeah, it was a real challenge because you can see we've got a very big sort of wedge-shaped angle in the back there, and then it was pretty much working out what could fit. And the benchtop design, I made it sort of round, which doubles as a benchtop and your table. And then again, when you open up those bifolds, you've got seating on the other side on the slab bar.
Yeah, very nice design. I love the light feature in here too.
Yeah, this one we call the lockdown lamp. It came about in lockdown when Mum and I were here, and I cut the end off all her wine bottles and her whiskey bottle, and I attached them to some swamp coatie with some ship's navigation lights, and I'd say that's the only one in New Zealand, if not the world.
I'll say, what a cool feature. I really like that. And then again, the rest of the kitchen, everything you need?
Yeah, we've kept it pretty basic. Again, just going with the boat theme. It's actually a marine gas oven. It's a little bit more compact and smaller than usual. And because we're working with some awkward angles, like I put the little wine racks in the back there and things like that, just because no cupboard could open in that corner, But even to the point where the space underneath the toaster over there is actually the linen cupboard coming in from the bedroom.
Right.
Because, again, you couldn't get cupboards opening into that awkward space, so I've just maximised everything.
But it looks like a really nice space to meal prep as well. You do have a lot of counter space, and then again, just being able to look out onto the outdoors while you're doing all your work in the kitchen is really nice too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was quite surprised myself. Like sometimes when you take these things on, you're not quite sure how they're going to turn out. And all I can say is that the build in the end surpassed all my expectations. And whatever I could dream up and put on paper, what we physically produced was actually better than that. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah, watching a project that was in your mind come to life and seeing it in reality is pretty amazing, eh?
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, as you should be. And I really like what you've done with the bunks here as well. That is a very cool feature.
Yeah, again, that's going back to maximising space and living on a boat. So pretty much these are my nautical bunks. I've even got portal windows and made some steps up there so you can climb into the top bunk. But yeah, pretty much that bedroom, if you like, is 2.2 metres long by 1.2 metres wide.
Yeah, perfect. And then we've got the master bedroom through there. Can we have a look at that?
Let's go check it out.
Alrighty. Oh, again, this is such a cool room. You have just packed so much character into every corner of this home.
Yeah, we tried. I tried to limit myself, and then me and the builder would get a little bit carried away, and he's like, oh, do you want to do a rising sun on the ceiling? Like, why not?
That must have taken forever to do.
Yeah, that took about a full day with two of us working just to do the cuts in the ceiling. And yeah, the builder said, don't talk to me while I'm doing this maths, because there was serious angles going on there.
There really are. And then, of course, having the ship lamp as a feature in the middle of that. Wow.
Yeah, well, I ordered it and wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. And I thought, I'm just going to smack it dead over the bed. No one could bang their head on it there. So yeah, no, it's probably one of my favourite features of the house. It's pretty cool. And
then again in here, the use of all of the timber goes a long way to really warming the space up a lot.
Yeah, I think so. That gives you your sort of organic type feel, especially some of it being recycled. It's all got history and it's warm. And I think, having the stark white walls, you need that contrast between the two.
Yeah.
In the end, I think we got it right.
Yeah. I would say you did too. And then the bed, good size. This is a king bed?
Yep, king size bed. Had to build that from scratch as well, basically because I wanted storage underneath it. Yeah, every usable space, basically. Even the bedside tables, they slide in and out, so you can get your glass of water under it, put your book on it and charge your phones and things like that. And then any of the sort of the lighting around the beds, I've got like little LED lamps, but they've all got USB charging ports in them as well.
Great.
And so we can actually run little fans off them or charge your phone. It's a pretty unique shaped bedroom, like it's very, very sharp angles, as you can see, and that's just following the contour of the property down.
Yeah. I think most of us, we live most of our lives inside square boxes. And so when I come into a home like this, which is just so interesting in the way that all of the shapes have been utilized, it just adds so much to me and just makes a space immediately more interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I think it adds a bit of character. You've got all different angles, different lights and things like that. I mean, I travel a lot for work, and I've stayed in so many square motel rooms, I couldn't care less if it's a $500 night room or a $100 night room. It's still a square box to me. Whereas when I come here, I feel transformed, it's just like, it's my happy place.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then what's this little thing behind you here?
Oh, this is our mirror. But if friends and family are clever enough and kids go exploring, then this is actually the pirate's treasure hidden in a little secret compartment. We've got old gold chocolate and a little note that says, "Ha ha, you found the pirate's treasure."
I love it.
It's only ever been discovered twice.
People need to get more adventurous,
They need to get more adventurous.
Yeah, I love that. And again, just building little things like that into the home make it just so much more special.
Yeah, I guess it reflects my sense of humour, like when the mirror arrived, it opened, I thought, well, it's got to open somewhere, so I boxed it out and painted it black and away we went.
Yeah, and you've got to have fun with a project, eh?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of my character went into this house, and I'm a bit of a larrikin best of times, so it makes me smile, and I hope other people, when they arrive, get that sense of playfulness as well.
Absolutely. Well, it made me smile.
That's good.
And still to come is the bathroom. Can we check that out?
Absolutely. Let's go check it out.
Let's go check it out. Again, this is just so nicely done. That shower is quite spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another one of those things that I thought was a good idea at the time, and then when I got into it, I realised it was 10 times harder than what I thought it would be. But that's pretty much white riverstone base, and I took a few chunks out and put some greenstone in, which is South Island Pounamu, and another redstone called Jasper, going with that Pūtakawa theme.
Beautiful. And riverstone floors, obviously they take a lot of work to make, but they're so worth it, eh? The way they feel underfoot is just so nice. It's like having a shower and acupressure at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty organic feeling. I was just really terrified that it wasn't going to drain properly to the middle, but I managed to get the fall right, and we're not left standing in a puddle, so that's the main thing.
It sure is. It sure is. And again, carrying some of that nautical theme in here with all of the beautiful brass.
Yeah. I've got all the brass fittings I could find, and all the lighting again is 12-volt ship stuff. And we've got a pretty noisy fan. It's a bilge blower that you would have to blow all the fumes out of the ship. So if you flick that little switch there.
Oh, wow. There you go. Yeah. People will know when you're showering. Yeah. Nice use of the subway tiles in here as well.
Yeah. Again, I wanted to contrast the wood throughout the place. And so I've got the subway tile in both the bathroom and the kitchen. And because the kitchen is such an odd shape, we had offcuts, and that managed to make the bench top for the vanity.
Yeah, very nice. And then a conventional flushing toilet in here?
Yeah, I like the idea of off-grid, but I also like the idea of a flushing toilet. So we've got the off-grid power, but we're hooked up to the water and the sewer.
Yeah, well, if you've got access to the sewer, it makes sense to use it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's comfortable.
You've got the phone shelf above the loo rolls as well?
How am I supposed to watch Living Big in a tiny house without my cell phone on the toilet, mate?
Well, that's a great question. I am aware that probably at least 50% of you are pooping right now. So it is a great addition to have in the bathroom, I think.
Excellent.
And looking at these doors up close, these are just so nice, aren't they? You've got your Pūtakawa theme coming through with the reds and the greens. These were a great find.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things I kind of thought was a good idea at the time. I got them for a pretty good price because there's a little bit of borer in them, which is like a woodworm of some sort. So we had to do a lot of restoration, but luckily I've got a friend who's a bit of a secret cabinet maker, and he just came up here and worked for beer and guitar jams.
Nice. Yeah, well, the result speaks for itself, I think. It's a nice addition.
I think so.
Yeah. You can really see how much love and attention to detail you've poured into this space. This was a real labour of love, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's something we're really proud of, endless hours, peeling glue off places and things like that. But I'm really proud of the detail we managed to get into it. I'm really proud of the fact, I managed to edit my ideas to something that worked. But the stuff that we did manage to incorporate is kind of different and unique, and that's something that I enjoy every time I come here.
Yeah. So right now this is your holiday home. In the future, you do hope to retire here, but for the time being, you're also sharing this as a B&B.
Yeah, we do. It was an expensive build. Like, I hate to even think what the cost per square metre was. And so just to try and offset some of that, we have people come and stay. And tiny homes, as you know, like a growing trend.
Yeah.
And people who are thinking about their own tiny home often will come and stay and try and get ideas, or even just see if they can live in a tiny space.
Yeah.
So I did that experience through living on the boat, but most people haven't had that experience. So yeah, it's something quite unique, and they enjoy the fun of the space, you know.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to be able to offer.
This place means a lot to me from a personal perspective because it's encapsulating my history. Like, that time living on the boat was something I'll never forget. It means a hell of a lot. And it's also a legacy that I can leave for my daughter. In this day and age, you know, people can't afford a $5 million place on the beach, you know, but you can afford a tiny home if you can find some land to park it on. And I think leaving this to my daughter will, you know, it probably means more to me than, you know, leaving a big house to my daughter, because this is kind of like a special environment, and there's not too many special environments left in the world, you know.
And you touched on it, but do you have any idea what the build cost for this place was?
Yeah, it was up there. The compliance, because this is all consented with all the council and the architects' professional fees and engineers, was about 50 grand, and then about 150 grand for the build, and that's not counting my labour. So we're talking minimum a couple of $100,000, and that's not even land.
Yeah, so obviously an investment, but what an investment, because what a place you've got here now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, when I was freaking out at the end of the build and almost bottoming out financially, my brother-in-law, who's a builder, just said, Scott, mate, don't worry about it. In a year's time, you're going to have this amazing space and you're never going to regret it. And I haven't regretted it for a day. You know, I haven't regretted a cent I've spent on an hour I've spent here or anything. It's just great.
Yeah, this really is such a special place that you've created. I love how much of your character and your own personal story and history you've built into this place, all of the sort of nautical theme that comes from your years living on the boat. I just think this is a beautiful evolution of your story. Thank you so much for sharing it with me.
Thanks for coming by.
This is just such a special place that Scott has created here. There is so much of his character and history that's been built into this. And in doing that, not only has he created a really special place for himself to call home, I love that he's created a legacy for his family, a place where his daughter will always be able to come, a place where her children will be able to enjoy. This is a place that will pass through the generations and remain every bit as special as it is today.